can you please click on the link that I just posted in the chat window? Can you see it?
Okay.
Yep. So this is the link to the project registry, to the web UI. So if you can please open the link and then share your screen with us.
Still loading. Oh, there we go. Okay, a moment to share my screen.
Nice, Jen.
What?
Oh no, I'm talking to Jennifer Dowd in the chat. She's already got her ears up and logged in. She's like, that's Jen. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. So it says welcome. Please log in. So I click on login screen.
So now we are still working on the user experience side of things, so it will look more friendly in the next iteration. But for now, you just click the login button. It's only connected to the IDER identity provider at the moment, so it would have to be someone with an IDER account to submit the request. Please go ahead, Jem.
Did it work?
You would have to authenticate with the with your GitHub account.
With my GitHub account or with the IDER?
With the IDER, I think it's just because it's your first time logging into the DevHub realm that it's asking you to confirm your email and first name and last name.
Thank you, Justin.
Ah. Okay, just bear with me. How long does it take for the email to come?
Depends on how busy KeyCloak is on sending emails. Sometimes it's around 1 to 5 minutes.
So maybe we can switch to Jennifer's screen, and then we can go back to Jen's
let's
screen.
go ahead, Jen. Yeah, and we'll keep working, Jen, when you get the confirmation. Yeah, go ahead, Jen. Over.
Should I stop sharing here?
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah, Jen's gonna jump in.
Okay, I got the thing.
Can you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see your screen, Jen.
Okay,
so,
great.
Jen, we'll complete the flow for Jennifer, and then we'll go back to your screen.
Yay. Okay, so what do I call my project?
Well, I thought you.
David, are you there? David,
yes, I'm here.
Okay, walk me through this.
Yeah, project. What would you consider as a project, Elena?
So whatever you have on OpenShift 3.11, like
Okay.
you're migrating the projects of the 3.11 onto OpenShift 4. So maybe keeping the names consistent.
Oh yeah, okay. So our project is RSBC space hub. Right.
Few
No space.
things before you move to the next form. I would appreciate if you used less abbreviations, so it would be easier for the platform services team to understand what the project is about.
So,
just spell it out.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yes.
BC hub. Yeah.
And one thing for everybody to keep in mind, we just discovered it today. Do not use any special characters.
Okay. What about spaces?
Spaces are allowed.
Yes. Thank you, Justin. I think spaces and hyphens you said are allowed.
Do you want a space in there, David?
I think it'll read a little better
Yeah.
for others as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are we
and then
putting
we'll
our
just
description
describe
as?
it. Enable citizens to.
Can I just continue creating my project in the meantime?
Yeah.
Yeah, continue filling out the field, just don't hit submit yet.
What is the priority application checkbox for?
Justin, you want to speak to that?
So the short version is that as a part of our journey to the enterprise version, we're having to get to that plain language of a critical system as according to the government core policy versus an application that's highly available. That's kind of what we're saying. So what we were doing when we were actually identifying in the meantime whether the application was one or the two or not a critical system, because the moment you say that, that puts a whole different pressure on yourself and us. So we're going to be able to support critical systems with the gold enterprise offering that's coming as a part of this rollout. But for now, we just chose a lesser language that gives us a bit of an idea of what you got there. So like some of the COVID apps that came on as an example would be a priority application. They'll evolve to a critical, as you can imagine, when the time comes to use that language, but it puts the line of business in a whole different world when they say we're a critical app. So if you're priority, it's good. It just lets us know. That's all.
Okay. Is there kind of like a checklist to let a project sort of identify themselves as a priority application or not? I mean, if you're it's kind of obvious for some other businesses.
I would say call yourself a priority unless you're not a priority. Meaning to your point around, because it's loose language right now, Michael, because it has to do with, again, the critical system standards as set by the province. So calling yourself a priority is fine. You're not putting yourself at risk. All you're doing is identifying that you're going to be potentially asking for some different things as time goes on, such as, hey, we've got this amount of traffic or et cetera with coming, so that the metadata that we can, or even yourselves, you'll find when the project registry, when we get to the point where the dashboard becomes available, you'll be able to see all that stuff and filter by metadata to see which one's which. And then we'll expand upon the dashboard in the project registry to handle more meta, so you can do more searching and filtering.
Justin, would it slow us down in any way if we pick it versus not picking it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So
I
can explain, some of the fields on the form. They have nothing to do with the actual project provisioning on the platform, but we wanted to take this opportunity with the new project registry to start collecting more information about apps that are hosted on the platform. Set of fields where we ask about what services you expect to utilize as part of your project. That's an ask that came from the Common Components team. They're looking to understand what are some of the kind of common patterns that many applications share. So that will help them to better direct their work. So if there is an email component that's used by 90% of all apps on the platform, then it makes sense to spend more time developing an email common component that will be beneficial to all those teams. So all this information that we collect, besides the project name and the PO and tech lead contact information, it will be used primarily for analytical purposes to better understand who we have on the platform and how we can better support them.
Okay, so I'm going to take off priority because I don't think we're a priority application compared to the critical standards of BC government.
Yes, as Justin said, it's it doesn't do anything like.
There were some systems that were on here that were on the bench for critical, which is why as a part of the architectural design that came in March and around the pivot when we were moving to an enterprise journey is why we got to the gold, right? And that was based upon people having critical systems. It's like, okay, then we have to be ready for that, which is why we've got that disaster recovery plus the next part being in the cloud too. So. Okay.
I'm going to put all this stuff in here. David, is there anything that I'm missing?
Let me see. No, and these notifications, they're just preferences, right?
Yep.
So yeah, our main communication is email, so that's
just
great.
metadata.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so just collecting information about the project.
Right.
For analytical purposes, David.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about project, the request itself? So I see that there's a 40-character limit and you don't want us to use abbreviations. what do folks who have very long names do? And how do you request for multiple, like, is there a naming convention that platform services would prefer for multiple namespaces?
The namespace itself will be the traditional license plate, because every time we have an election, projects, ministries get renamed. So we try to move away from using like ministry stuff and other acronyms in namespaces. But to Justin's point earlier, you guys can pick whatever project name you like. It's more for you than for us. And the description, again, is just to make this more human readable. So it shouldn't be something that somebody looks at and they're scratching their head. Like, what does XYZ dash P1 mean? It's like, that doesn't mean something to a human. So it's really just try to make the project name and the description something that's, you know, you're explaining it to your 5-year-old, and you know, give them some simple names that are short, easy to read.
Right, but you don't have a preference? Because
I know you're looking for specifically, like, it's not a technical. Yeah, it's exactly backing up what Jason said. This was an ask that was put on me from multiple ADMs across the sectors that were saying they were looking for reporting that came through this project registry to be able to tell the story about the types of applications that were on there. Elena has a list that she gets of all the namespaces that she can pull out, but the descriptions in there vary based upon their plain language. So when they're trying to sell a concept saying we've got this and that and this and that, they're not able to tell that story effectively because they say, oh, I know what this one is, but I have no idea what that one is, because it's literally like a one-line sentence, and the name of the project is so, what's the word, branded, that it's just, we have no idea what it does. So it's like, so literally to that end, like Road Safety BC Hub, right, as a brand, it's like, sure, cool. It's the description that's going to save us, right? When someone comes in, Jen, to ask, well, what's that? Oh, it's a system for processing electronic violation tickets and business intelligence. Yay! It's like we know what it is, right?
And you'll be able to edit this in the future.
Yeah, you'll be able to edit in the future. I think that answers Ian's Hallis's question. Yeah, you can go back and we can fix this. Yeah.
So another piece of metadata that was actually added on the Openshift 3.11 platform, we've added the ability to attach labels or tags to namespaces, and it will be available on the Openshift 4 as well. It will be in the next iteration of the project registry. So it's a piece of additional information that can be attached to a namespace to indicate if it belongs to, let's say, like a larger project group. So I think the example used the Climate Action Secretariat. So you can mark the namespaces belonging to applications or services that belong to the Climate Action Secretariat using this metadata. And then we can run reports and tell you exactly, you know, how many namespaces or project sets you have on the platform that belong to this particular unit.
Perfect. Thank you. That's
awesome. Oh, she's still filling it out. I was ready for that Steve Jobs moment. Like, let's actually try it.
We're good. Okay, I'm gonna hit request.
Don't make sudden movements.
I hit it.
So there goes, pop up, your namespace request was successful. So a next step action that we have in our backlog is to reset the form and clear it out, just so people know. So because our focus today, again, this is MVP early access. So now what you're going to see is some emails are going to be sent, Jen. So keep an eye on your inbox on your side for yourself and David. And then Elena's going to share what you're going to see on our side.
Yes, so don't submit the form twice.
Should I submit as well?
Just wait for Jen if you can. Like, you can submit concurrently. It won't affect the demo. But let's just go through Jen's first.
I got an email. I'll show you guys. Here, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's us.
Nice.
That's what it is.
I got one as well. So
yay!
Yay!
If I screwed up on choosing if I'm a priority application or not, will you guys work with me to change that choice?
Yeah.
It's just at this time it's just metadata. Yeah. And like Jason was saying, it will be editable in the near future. So
right.
Yeah, the next iteration of the project registry will allow you to edit already submitted if you want to change a description or a project name, or check or uncheck the project as a business mission critical application.
Okay.
Elena, Justin, just wondering if that ticky box, if it's renamed to critical application instead of priority application, I wonder if it reduces the confusion a little bit. If the checkbox actually says critical application rather than priority application.
To be declared a critical application, you have to undergo an assessment. Like
So
there's
for backlog, I'll just get Luke to make a note of it to put additional description on the
Maybe
field.
that's it.
Yeah, just so people can see the difference. But for now, we just chose the word priority so that people didn't see the word critical. Because again, the moment you see that word,
I see. I get it.
now you guys are in a different world. It's like
the legalese. Yeah.
It's like
Gotcha.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen right now because all the requests that you've submitted up to this moment, they are sitting with me as the approver for them. Okay, so nothing will happen until I exercise my magic power and approve those requests. So let's see what happens on my side.
You need a wand or something, Alina.
I should dress up as in like a sorcerer or enchantress.
There you go. That'd be good.
Okay, I have 4 requests, so I see the teams have been busy already. So right now, the only kind of verification I can do is to compare the project name and the product owner name against a list that registered for the early access participants. Right, but for now, I'm just going to head and approve because I know that everybody who was invited to this call are part of the early access program. So this is what I see in my email account. It's an email that comes from GitHub saying that there is a pull request waiting for me. So let's go have a look at it. So this is the information that was submitted through the form. So this is the database Kirk project. Cool. So we have Kevin Netherton, both as the product owner and the technical contact. Justin Pai, are you here?
Yes. You need to scroll up and approve your review. So add a review.
Okay, this is a bit new.
Sorry
So do you want to explain what's in the YAML files? I think that would be interesting for folks.
Sure. So all of the YAML files here are ones we've generated that are similar for all of the people on the platform or namespaces on the platform, containing things like your namespaces, the metadata for them. There's RBAC in there for adding the admin user and adding our BC DevOps admin to your namespaces. There's also Artifactory service account for accessing the Artifactory caching, and a couple other manifests like that. And they're all Openshift manifests. And what happens is when these are merged, in the background, we have Argo CD running, and Argo CD is going to see these changes were merged to the repository, and then it's going to apply them to the cluster and keep them up to date. So every time we make changes with the registry, and in the future when we allow you guys to edit things, when a pull request comes in, we'll just merge it or approve it, and it'll be merged. And like if you want to update your quotas, then we can approve that, and it'll go in and Argo CD will update your quotas for you. And so that's all automatically happening in the background.
So basically the entire footprint of your project on the platform is coded in here in these YAML files. So it's no more manual clicking, no more manual configuration. Everything is as a code that would allow us to build consistent namespaces across all the clusters that will be rolled out as part of the OpenShift 4 platform. And it will also make it easier for you in the future to configure your apps across the clusters in a consistent way once we make the Argo CD service available to the teams. Any questions before I click the approve button? Okay, I'm going to approve the request. Justin, do I need to merge it as well?
Yes, now merge it.
Okay.
All right.
So do you want me to log into the OpenShift console?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this provisioning takes about 1 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so maybe I will go ahead and approve all other requests meanwhile. Okay,
Olena, this is Jam. I think something went wrong in my request because when I clicked on create or request, it wasn't obvious that the request went through, and I might have clicked on it again and it erased all of my, all the tick boxes that I had picked.
What was the name of your project?
It's MOH MSP enrollment.
So we have quite a few pull requests. Do you see it in your list, Jim? Do you see it in this list?
Yeah, the first one, I think. MOH MSP enrollment, yeah. Do you see just one or many?
Just one.
Just one.
Okay. Does it show? Does it have all my options that I picked, or are they all empty?
Well, that would so those options would be stored in the database, right? So what I see in the pull request is only what's pertinent to creating the namespaces on the Openshift platform. So Jason, if you can have a peek in the database.
Yep, I see various trues and falses in there, so
okay, perfect.
I think it's okay.
It cleared out the form for me too on submit, but I think it worked.
Okay.
So a recommendation, maybe, I don't know if you can do this or not, but maybe after a request is successfully sent, disable the button so people don't.
Yeah, so exactly what you're saying, Jam. So I've got that in the backlog as an action item with Jason and team to add it for the next part of the state of the form. Yeah, okay. Totally with you. Yeah, I said the same thing this morning when we had it running. I was like, can we do that? Because I'm going to hit request twice.
Right. Okay, so now what happens? Is there anything that I need to do on my end, or?
So what Elena's going to do is she's going to look at one of the ones she already approved, and she's going to log in. She's going to find the tag. So like, as you guys know, there's like what they call license plates, and she's going to look in here and she's going to find it. So there's Kirk as an example.
Yeah, this is the very first request that I approved. As you can see, the 4 namespaces have been provisioned. So it's not just the namespaces, it's the access controls that come with them, the product owner and the technical lead that have been listed on the form get admin access to those namespaces, and then they can invite other team members as necessary. And another new service that we are rolling out on the Silver cluster is Artifactory, the trusted image repository, so that you can use the cache and repos available in Artifactory to pull images from there rather than from internet. And once we add security scanning on the cluster, then the images in the cache and repos will be tested. So when you pull the image, you can be assured that it has no vulnerabilities in it. So that's another new addition.
Can you quickly show them, just as a reminder in Rocket Chat, where to grab Jason for some of these questions that they have following next steps?
Yep.
Because they've got some great feedback items already. This is what I wanted to see, was because this is the whole point of, like, continuous improvement of this registry itself and the automation process. So yeah, so let's capture some of the ideas and get them in there.
Yeah.
Hey, Will. So yeah, let's find that. Yeah, let's find that DevOps. So yeah, the migration channel. Just remind them to grab Jason in there if something doesn't work, and he can have a peek on his side.
Okay, so I will proceed with approving the rest of the request. I do have a question for, I think it was.
I messed it up. You can reject it.
Oh, okay. So Justin, what happens if I don't approve it? I don't think we've tested that use case.
You just close the pull request and nothing will happen as expected.
Can I resubmit it if somehow the problem exists between me and the keyboard?
You can totally resubmit it and it would update the pull request, but it's probably just easier if Alina just closes the pull request and then
Cool.
a new one will be generated.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
And sorry.
No
No
worries.
problem.
Might want to delete the branch, yeah.
Yes, please do. Branch or
evidence of my incompetence.
No
I will
worries.
note, just a note, Alina, that branches are only automatically deleted on a successful merge, just so you're aware.
Okay.
This is good testing stuff. Very valuable.
So one last thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, that I'm not a robot, I'm a human. So if you do submit a request for a project set, like I don't respond within 30 seconds as the robots that Jason and Justin built. So give me at least a couple of hours, right? But like if you find that it's taken too long and you're impatient, you can always DM me and ask me to approve the pull request, and then I'll get to it right away. Because like, you know, this approval is the only human intervention that is required in this entire process, but it is there.
What if you're not available for a period of time?
Justin is the second approver.
Okay.
So you can go
yeah,
and
I'll be there too. I'm getting all these things, as you guys know. I get all the GitHub notifications in my inbox, so I see it as well. So there's a few questions. Yeah, thanks, Maral. So I was going to say, there was a question there about, so the IDER piece is specific to the project registry. That's how it's tied. It's tied and attached to an IDER. Once a namespace is created, it's my understanding it's the same as what you guys would do back in Openshift 3, right, Elena? They can attach the GitHub stuff and all that the way it was before, right? And then in the Silver cluster, that hasn't changed, right? Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. So
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Justin, we're going to say that we are looking to add IDER to the for the OpenShift access as well?
It was not, but that is a good point. I was going to mention that when you're adding users on OCP 3.11, you only had to type in their GitHub username and that was it. On OCP 4, you will type their username and then at GitHub after it, or at IDER when IDER becomes available. So it's not just their username that you'll put into the role binding when you're interacting with the cluster.
Good point.
Just so everyone's aware.
Jason, can we document it in the OCP4 migration repo?
Yes.
That's a very important lesson learned.
So I'm just reading back in the chat here, because there's lots of good stuff going on here. A couple of 500s I'm seeing. Nino, did you end up getting your thing submitted? I mean, it's a takeaway because I think we're over time right now, but.
Jem, do you have a question?
Yeah, what is the URL of the new OpenShift 4 console?
Okay, so that would be included in the second email. So once I approve your request and your namespaces get provisioned, you should get a second email saying that you're good to go, and this is the URL for the OpenShift 4 Silver cluster console.
Okay, perfect.
Did you get it?
The email?
Yes.
Yes, I do see it. It's console.apps.silver.devops.
Yep.
Is that the one?
You got it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So once you log in, you will see the namespaces that were created and linked to your GitHub ID.
Question about the command line client for 4 compatible with 3. So I don't know the answer, so I'm asking anyone on the team.
Depending on the, I can
Yeah.
jump in really quick. There is some listed compatibility issues. What I have found, because I have been using the current OC CLI for the past 3 months, and for all of the generic commands that I've been running, I haven't noticed an issue, but there are new features in the new version that may not be backward compatible. So there is, I'm just looking up the website that'll help you identify the specific pieces that are backward compatible and which ones aren't. So give me 1 second and I'll answer that for you in a little more detail.
So this just so you want it, just to note the OCP 3.11 CLI, I haven't had any issues with it with OCP 4. So
yeah, I would like to largely second that. When I started working on the new cluster, it took me, I was using the OCP 3 CLI, and it took me a very long time to run into any sort of compatibility issue. I did eventually run into one, but it took quite a long time before I got there. So for the most part, they're compatible, but there are a couple of things that are not.
Yeah, basically, if you run into an issue, make sure you're logged in, and then you can start blaming the CLI after that.
Kelly, can I ask you to post a link to the Artifactory documentation in Rocket Chat and pin it there? really want to encourage everyone to start playing with Artifactory. So as soon as you get your spaces provisioned, you will get the service account for Artifactory.
It's actually still in a branch right now, so I can provide that link. But you know, it may change depending on what the pull request reviews say. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I can post that, and then it should very soon show up as sort of slightly more official documentation on DevHub once it's all, you know, approved and everything.
How many projects?
One other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One other thing we should probably note when you're dealing with the two different clusters, you can actually be logged into multiple OCP clusters at the same time. So be very, very careful when you're running commands that you're targeting the OCP cluster that you think you're targeting. Because if you're playing around with an environment that is safe to delete, you might be targeting one that is not.
Good point. Good point. Thank you, Wade. Oh, and a reminder that we will have weekly touch points with the early access participants. So again, that would be a good opportunity to share what you discovered, you know, any traps you fall into and you want to warn others not to do the same thing. So that would be a good opportunity to bring this up. So you should have a meeting invite for next Wednesday as our first touch point.
I think we got 15 or 16 people requesting projects so far, Justin, which is good. We're almost got everybody in one shot.